It seems to me, first of all, from what I understand from doctors, that's really rare. If it's a legitimate rape, the female body has ways to try to shut that whole thing down.
And when it comes to establishing your worldview, I was curious, what newspapers and magazines did you regularly read before you were tapped for this to stay informed and to understand the world?
I've read most of them, again, with a great appreciation for the press, for the media.
But like what one specifically, I'm curious that you...
all of them, any of them that have...
Can demonic spirits attach themselves to inanimate objects? The answer is yes.
Welcome to Twat Waffle of the Week.
Now I understand. We could walk down the street. Something could happen. We could be at church. Something can happen. 100% understand that, said Lori Ferguson as she told WCSC. My kids asked me where the police were to protect them. They didn't want to take a shower in our own home, because now they're traumatized by what happened tonight. Unquote. Sadly, this feeling, for lack of a better term, has become all too real within 24 hours at this new civil rights movement posting of the above said story. It's the second time within 6 weeks that I have felt fear for the children of my friends. And I don't mean my friends were involved in this incident, but 2 other incidents that, as far as I know, have not really made the news. It's a really weird, unnerving feeling to know that people you are close to were in such jeopardy. And trust me, my solution for the gun control issue, I don't think too many people would like. So I haven't shared much NIFB hate of late, and that's New Independent Fundamentalist Baptist. I thought I'd change that.
And apparently there's states back east, they're having all kinds of this grooming stuff going on in schools today. I mean, apparently in schools today, they're literally grooming the kids to be just ready to be taken advantage of. That any teacher that would show this type of lewd, I mean, basically what I've heard is that they're showing pornographic images to children, to young children, which is against the law. I'm pretty sure I think it's a felony. But you know what? Preachers need to get up and say, okay, well, teachers that do this, they should be put to death. They need to be taken out and shot in the back of the head because they're pedophiles. Any teacher that's going to show pornographic images to young children, they are a predator. And the reason that they're doing that is because they want to take advantage of young children. And these teachers, they're showing these pornographic images to these young children and literally grooming them. Those teachers need to have the fear of God put in them. And you know what? That's what the government is for. In Romans 13, the Bible talks about that the government's job is to execute judgment with the sword. Okay, so maybe we need to put aside the guns and we need to get the sword back out. And we need to make these executions public. We need to find these teachers that are showing pornographic images and grooming children. We need to find them, try them, get the television out. We need to get Fox News, CNN, every YouTube channel out there, put it on television. We need to show them being publicly beheaded. That's what needs to happen to these people. Because you know what? Otherwise, our nation is going to turn into a literal Sodom and Gomorrah.
What fascinates me, they pretty much are very predictable with their hate. Quote,
He went from the claim that teachers are showing pornographic images to kids, which is a lie, to saying they must be pedophiles, again, a lie, to saying they should be executed with a gun to the head. What the fuck? To then saying we should publicly behead those teachers on live television. What the fuck, too?
and that's according to Hemet Meta. So, my introduction to the furry subculture was a 2003 episode of CSI called Fur and Loathing. Now, whether you loved or hated the episode, it was a stereotypical presentation, according to critics. But I became intrigued and did a bit more digging. For brevity, yes, there can be a sexual aspect, but generally it's not there. It's basically cosplay, or as it's short for, costume play. Now, flash forward 15-ish so years, and I have about 10 friends that would be considered part of the furry culture. Needless to say, the reality presented in this clip does not reflect the reality that exists. Hence, reading about this shit just does not surprise me. Quote,
The Austin Independent School District this week fell victim to a harassment campaign after right-wing activist Chaya Rayachik falsely accused them of teaching second graders about furries. Shortly after Rayachik lobbed false accusations against the Austin Independent School District, it was flooded with angry calls and messages from her followers, who accused the schools of teaching sexual fetishes to children. The school district, for its part, did a review of its curriculum and found no furry worksheets created for second graders. End quote. Now, according to Matt Bender from Mashable, he notes, quote, furries are an internet subculture whose members often create an anthropomorphized animal version of themselves and identify and act as that animal character. Furries are not explicitly sexual in nature, as I mentioned above. However, furry fetish tropes have pigeonholed the community into being identified as such by the mainstream.
end quote. According to Bender, Rayachik previously spread bullshit about schools, leaving out litter boxes for students that were chosen to identify as cat. Unbelievable. No one, in regards to this next clip, has been held accountable because after 60 plus court cases, no proof has been brought forth. And you can bet if Dr. Fauci, for some odd reason, did jack shit about the pandemic, the Reich would still be calling for his head.
We're fighting communist Democrats, establishment rhinos. We're fighting against a system that stole the election in 2020, and nobody's been held accountable. We're in a war with bureaucrats that have forced vaccine mandates on us, mask mandates on us. And you know what? They're pushing this wokeness confusion down our throats now. And by the way, we should try Anthony Fauci and put him in front of a firing squad. And for the Secret Service, if they're listening, I'm not advocating we kill Anthony Fauci until he's convicted of his crimes through a court.
You would think that after 2+ years, that rational thinking would return. And speaking of rational thinking or rational thought, as one commenter notes, quote, "Those who want loyalty and respect must be worthy of these things first."
This is about a God that appointed a man. And you see, I've got enough Italian in me to know what loyalty means. Here's the way it works for me. I love loyalty. Loyalty is a forgotten quality. Donald Trump, you fought for my family will fight for you. You went in that White House and you made our life better. You made our economy better. You made our churches better. You allowed us the freedom to choose a vaccine if we wanted one or not. You fought for our freedom, and I'm not about to start second guessing your choices and what you do. If you make a mistake, it'll be on you, sir. But I will be loyal. I'm not a Tino. I'm not a Valentino. I am a Trump supporter. Why? Because God chose the man, and I've got sense enough to know it, recognize it. I know where the blessing is. Let me tell you something. When you find a blessed man, when you find a blessed ministry, you better plant your feet under that blessing, and it will fall down on top of you.
Again, I would like Pastor Vaughn to demonstrate the claims he makes. How exactly, pray tell, did President Trump make churches better? Generally, I do not agree with the Catholic League, aka Bill Donahue. But when they are outright lied about by a known crank and her associates, a defense is required. While I agree with Green's assessment of the Roman Catholic Church's handling of the pedo scandal, I mean, who wouldn't? She does forget that it's not just a Roman Catholic issue. But she is incorrect in regards to illegal immigration and refugee settlement.
The U.S. bishops have, for decades now, taken enormous sums of money from the federal government, federal taxpayers, to assist in illegal immigration, some refugee resettlement also, but the vast bulk of the money that they've taken over the years is to essentially skirt around the U.S. immigration laws. I mean, you've just described a situation with America falling apart. And yet here are all these religious leaders like, oh, we have to love the family and this and that. Is that two-faced?
It's interesting. I thought we had a separation of church and state, right?
Yeah.
No, it's what it is it's Satan's controlling the church. The church is not doing its job, and it's not adhering to the teachings of Christ, and it's not adhering to what the Word of God says we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to live. And what they're doing by saying, oh, we have to love these people and take care of these migrants and love one another. This is loving one another. Yes, we are supposed to love one another, but their definition of what love one another means destroying our laws. It means completely perverting what our Constitution says. It means taking unreal advantage of the American taxpayer. And it means pushing a globalist policy on the American people and forcing America to become something that we are not supposed to be. Loving one another is the true meaning of loving one another, and loving others means that you also have to uphold the law. You have to uphold the rules. And and you say no. There's times you say no. And here's America handing over billions and billions and billions of dollars in foreign aid to where? These countries where these people are coming from, like Guatemala, Mexico. I mean, we could go through the whole list.
Right.
Our dollars, our American dollars, just, they like fly out the window and fly down there to those countries. Well, here's what we should be doing. We should hold those countries accountable. Oh, I'm sorry, Guatemala, you're not getting a check this year because you have sent X number of thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of people to illegally invade our country as if they're an army. Yeah. They may not have guns, but they're the numbers of a regiment and of an army. We won't be able to send you your foreign aid until you bring your people back and use this. If you're interested in foreign aid, use this money to help your people, right? Because that's what this is designed. And the bishops, the bishops of Catholic relief charities and services, they should be all in support of that. They should be in support of United States politicians holding these other countries accountable for all the American taxpayer dollars that flood into their countries. So if the bishops were reading the Bible and truly preaching the Word of God to their flock, like
and not covering up sex abuse,
and not covering up child sex abuse and pedophilia, yes, that would be, loving one another would have the true meaning, and not the perversion and the twisted lie that they're making it to be.
While Catholic Charity does receive funding, as do many nonprofits, they basically undertake tasks that would otherwise fall to the government. They fulfill a need as well as holding a particular area of so-called expertise. Catholic Charities has a long history of assisting migrants and refugees. And in the long run, it saves the government a boatload of money. In the end, in my opinion, it boils down to this. Instead of using a Fox News talking point or talking points, Marjorie needs to try and read her fucking Bible. Leviticus 19:33 and 34. When an alien lives with you in your land, do not mistreat him. The stranger who lives as a foreigner with you shall be to you as the native born among you, and you shall love him as yourself, for you lived as foreigners in the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh, your God. It also should be noted that Green did not specify in her little rant what part of Catholic teaching she believes the church leaders are violating by aiding the immigrant. So the other day I was asked why I include some of the clips that I do. Easy answer, because of the outrageous nature of what is being said. Also an easy answer, because many of these individuals are running for public office. In other words, we, and I'm saying that as a collective whole, are responsible for the idiots in office. A good case in point is this trucker or Randy Bishop dude, who was previously the chairman of the Antrim County Republican Party. Now he filed to run for a seat representing the 37th state district as a Democrat, even though he's a Republican. This, in fact, has caused a scrutiny of some of his rants on the radio, one in which he complained about how mixed families in commercials upset him.
See, one thing you got to understand, folks, do you know only 1.5%, maybe I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, 2% of this population is LGBTQXYZ? 1 to 2% of our population is confused about their sexuality. They don't know what's between their legs. They think they're a woman, but they have something else between their legs. They're confused individuals. 1 to 2%. Why is the media and why are we constantly being bombarded with stuff about the LGBTQXYZ community? What percentage of our population is black? In some areas, it's 3, 5, 7%. Others, it's 13%. Nationwide, I think the nationwide black, I'm not talking about Hawaiians or Polynesians or people like Kamala Harris, who's not black. I'm talking about real African American heritage black people. So why are we talking so much about voter suppression? You will not believe what this country looks like 20, 30, 40 years from now if we continue down this path with public indoctrination of our kids on their socialist communist agenda. What is it? Destroy the nuclear family. Destroy it. Take away your morality. Take away your values. Take away your religion and brainwash you when you sit and watch TV. Now every single commercial has a biracial mom and dad. Can't even watch a college basketball tournament without commercials telling me I have to feel guilty because I think a family should be a white mom, a white dad, and white kids. They want us to die and go away. And they're going to try to do it through politics this year.
With that, I am going to bring this episode to an end. Although I may be adding another installment as I still have some clips to highlight. But for now, I will bring you YouTuber Mr. Mythos, who is an occult researcher, myth weaver, and truth seeker. What I find interesting with Mr. Mythos is he delves into the Hollow Earth mytho, which not many people do. For me, it's just something different to watch and listen to. Maybe get some ideas. But it's a fun channel, and I hope you enjoy it too. With that, I bid you peace, and have a wonderful day or evening, afternoon, whatever it may be where you reside. Peace out.